Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Financial Fitness. I'm your host, Jared Myers, brought to you by the Old Fashioned Health Network, Good Health, Inside and Out. Now, these people I'm here with, they need no introduction, but guys, go ahead. Let's go ahead and go through the round table.
Hello. I'm so glad to be here. I'm ready to go. I'm Keila, and everybody knows me. I'm by way of Mississippi, so...
Hello.
How's it going today, guys?
I love it. Chan, what's up, man?
Hey, thanks for having me back.
Back again.
Yeah.
Guys, it's June. How fast is this year going by?
It's flown by.
I mean, yeah, it's gone. We're halfway there. We're at the halfway mark.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Right? We've gone through a pandemic. We're 6 months in after the shots, the vaccines are out. It seems like some bit of normalcy is coming back.
A little bit.
Yeah. It is a little bit. People are ready to get out. They've been going. If they're anything like me, they've gone stir crazy by now.
Especially being inside so long, having to do so many things that we weren't used to, and just the adjustments of how people dealt with it from a mental perspective, physical perspective, from a financial perspective. I think we've seen the rise, the gains. We've seen a lot of downfalls. And now, it's like, what's the outlook on outwards in these next 6 months and what it could look like with the things that are coming up? So we got summertime, and everybody likes to be outside in the summertime. In this episode here, we're dealing with pandemic prices. We're dealing with the cost-based effectiveness. You guys have families. Shout out to the single bachelors out there. I'm just playing.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
You guys have to plan vacation a little bit differently.
Yeah.
What does that look like in turn?
Well, I think the big thing right now is just the gas prices. Especially with the pipeline from a couple of weeks ago. Everybody kind of went a little crazy, decided they needed to fill up on the gas, even if it wasn't required. But everybody around the country, especially Southeast, we got hit hard. Especially being here in Georgia with the pipeline being a major one for us, we were really hit with the gas prices. And then obviously Memorial Day, and as the summer vacations start hitting with the different holidays, it's going to get busier and busier. The gas prices are going to keep going up. I think a big one is going to be trying to do that, the cost effectiveness of where bigger families may have been willing to do the gas, get a van, and go that way versus doing the airline tickets. It might be, back to seeing a little bit more flights, a little bit more people willing to go to the airport. And go through those lines, go through security, pay a little bit more to be able to avoid the prices of rental cars and the prices of gas.
I flew out on Memorial Day weekend last weekend, and to get through Atlanta's airport was absolutely ridiculous. I'm talking about the amount of people. If it wasn't for this one lady opening up another section for security, I probably wouldn't have made my flight. Now, granted, I did dilly-dally at the house a little bit. You're supposed to be there 2 hours beforehand. I was there like 40 minutes. So, by the grace of God.
That's about right. That's so Jaredy. That is so Jaredy. But okay, let's keep going. Let's go. Keep going.
I love to push the envelope. I love to take the risk.
Clearly.
I love it. Keila, what has it been like for you back there?
I'm so glad that Chan brought that up about the gas prices and some people leaning towards buying plane tickets, because that's what I'm planning to do. I was actually planning a vacation for the boys and I the third week in July, and I was just looking at time, first of all, driving time, and then all that gas that I'll have to spend or what have you, and I was just doing my calculations, and I'm just like, I think I'll be better off getting us some flying, getting us some tickets and us flying out. Now, what I did see was an inflation in car rental prices there, but I think I have to look back at it and just go over my my list again of different things. But I'm thinking that I'll probably pay less. Just buying us some plane tickets and just renting a small little eco-friendly car when I get there for the days that we'll be there. I think I priced 3 tickets from flying from Jackson into Orlando at about $1,100 round trip for myself and the boys. So, and that's just me just playing with different places, just looking at the prices or what have you. And I'm saying to myself now, of course I would not spend that amount of money in gas, but just thinking about the ifs or the possibilities of what may happen traveling via car rather than flying there. I may be out of way more than that, especially when you think in terms of when I get back to maintenance that I'll have to get done prior to going, if I was to drive my own personal vehicle and getting back, plus gas, So that's something that I was thinking about as well. That's not even, and of course, just getting into this, we're going to just dive right into it. That's not even getting into our lodging and the events that we're going to actually be doing while we're there. So,
yeah, one of the things that impacted us greatly when I was down in Orlando, I didn't go to Disney, but same thing, to be prepared for lodging, to be prepared for travel, gas money, the tolls. The tolls were an expense that I didn't factor in.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, and when you're going through, now we traveled to Cocoa Beach, which anywhere is normally like a 45-minute drive, but with all the tolls, it ended up being an hour and a half, and we were just impacted by at least $6 or $7. We paid a total of $20 in tolls, 100% total. Just how we drove, each one you had to get off of. You got to factor in things like that. What's some unforeseen things that you could see happening on a trip, vacation, as Keela mentioned?
Yes, I mean, if you're taking your own car, like you said, with the maintenance, just anything happening like that is going to cause the big issues with it. I mean, prices all around everywhere seem to be going up right now. I mean, we're seeing lumber prices going up. I read the other day there's a chicken shortage. So I'm sure the prices of chicken are going to start going up. Because, people, as soon as you hear any sort of shortage, people go crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same in Mississippi as it is here, but I know, the toilet paper when COVID started, if it starts to just snow here, bread and milk disappear off the shelves. So like I said, if you get to the point where people are starting to hear that things are going to be short, they're going to try to do that stockpiling. So, I mean, you got to think about it, when you're going on a trip, usually if you're staying in a hotel or staying in a rental, Airbnb, anything like that, you buy some groceries. Yeah. But if grocery prices are affected now, too, so you have to kind of even budget about that. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Right?
Yeah.
It sounds like you guys, it sounds like you guys are finding ways to hedge against travel inflation, like you mentioned, like when toilet paper's out or food's out or groceries out and you go to a house now. What are ways to kind of be prepared and to kind of fit into your budget when you're getting ready to travel, or things to be expected that you normally would never even think twice about?
So, like for me, I've been hit. It's been crazy. So the boys are in summer camp, right? So, and I'm just at summer camp because of COVID. They have had to take on different types of protocols. With all of the children and all that stuff. So, like, now I'm having to, pack lunches every day. I have to make sure they get breakfast. They don't provide them with lunch. And I have to, send, 6 bottles of water with the kids each day because of the whole water, they're not allowing them to drink from water fountains and all that kind of stuff. So they have to provide their own stuff. So, in terms of vacationing, what I have done is I've gone to Sam's and bought stuff in bulk. So when we do go on vacation, I'm able to split some of my stuff up that I already have here because I bought it in such a large quantity. We can use that when we go to vacation. That's even tissue, paper towels, because you go to an Airbnb, you have to have certain things or what have you. Even all the way down to washing detergent. You buy it in bulk and then divvy it up, and that's just a part of how I have included my vacation in the budget, because you have now the vacation budget is to a different level now. It's either you're trying to decide, can I afford to pay the extra cost it's going to cost me to go on vacation, or should we just have a staycation? So those are some of the things that I'm trying to do, because of course the vacation is worth it, as you said earlier. It's definitely worth it. I think we all need a little vacation. But in the whole wake of things, we see that the cost of certain goods and services have gone up tremendously. And a lot of that is simply because, of course, different places have to take on extra safety protocols and procedures. So we're going to see some cost in that. There's going to be cost in that. So that's probably almost 100%. That's why majority of the cost that you've seen such an inflation in prices. going into, like I always say, I always bring it back around Eco 101, Economics 101, supply and demand, scarcity, cost and benefits, and of course incentives. So
100%. This is a very cost-based, effective time of year. You got people that are looking at the beach, they're looking at Disney, and along with, again, being in the house for so long, you're just looking for that escape. Now, granted, there was a holiday last weekend. Now, do you still see prices still being as high as they are? Do they slowly continue to rise? We've seen gas creep up. And again, we had that shortage in that situation prior to us having the shortage. We still saw gas prices kind of rise.
A little bit.
So,
yeah, this is the normal.
Yeah.
Lead into summer, gas prices
Exactly.
always tending to go up. I think it was the extreme this time with the shortage causing it to go up even more.
I agree with you 100%. 100%.
Yep.
What are some of the ways you guys, like, now, knowing what we know now, do you foresee yourself, like, planning your vacations a little bit differently? Do you see yourself going towards Christmas, looking into, like, okay, what are we going to be able to do? Like, it's months ahead, but look how far we're flying now. What are some of the ways you guys think is best?
Yeah. So, I think we're probably going to do more of the staycations. I know I have next week off for my son's first birthday, and we don't plan on going anywhere. We're staying at the house. His birthday falls in the middle of the week. He has a party on that Saturday. So, it's kind of, we're spread out. We're not really going to be able to go out anyways.
Yeah.
Most of my family's local anyway, so it's not like I really need to find a vacation to go out. It would be nice to be able to go to a beach somewhere and relax, but at the same time, if it doesn't make sense financially,
that's true.
You may just have to kind of, suck it up for a little bit, save that money, and wait for an opportune time. Maybe when prices do tend to go down a little bit, maybe in winter, when the beach prices aren't as high. Because I think this summer, with no one being able to get out last year, the demand to be able to go out is going to be up there.
Yeah.
And people's willingness to overpay
is going
to also happen. Similar to what we're seeing in the housing market right now. We have that small demand, small supply, high demand, with people over willing to pay. I think that's going to bleed into vacations, traveling. Well, people are willing to, go out there and spend that they may not have been willing to 2 summers ago. They feel like, oh, I didn't get to do it last summer. Let me go ahead and take it. But then we also have, the $1,400 that the government gave us a couple of times. Those couple of stimulus checks that some people probably did hold on to. They may feel like they have a little bit of extra cash to be able to spend. The lucky ones that were able to keep their jobs through the whole time. And this was extra cash, not, saving them from not getting a paycheck, but actually being able just to get that extra money and pocket it and put it in your savings account. Some people may have that extra money to be able to spend on vacations, which would then kind of affect the people that don't have the extra money, the ones that had to put that $1,400 towards bills, towards their mortgage or rent, towards groceries, where they don't have that extra cash. The people that got the stimulus checks and were able to just bank it now have that extra money to be able to spend. So I think you're also going to see their willingness may be higher, where others' just ability to spend is not going to be there.
So you're going to see money from stimulus, still kind of throttled throughout the economy. Yeah. I like that. And now you're going to see it for, like you said, the vacation aspect, that time. Like, now, okay, I've deserved this moment. I've sat up in the house long enough. I've done this long enough. This is my time. This is my moment. And, just thinking about, like, how travel is and still how, vaccinated versus unvaccinated. And there are people that, that still aren't vaccinated in this process. And, yes, health traveling becomes a concern. And we're looking at it from all perspectives, but financially, where it comes to impact you is how much or how little are you willing to sacrifice, I guess, in a sense. Because that's what it comes down to. You're going to pay. You're just going to overpay way more than you were, like you said, a year ago, 2 years ago, prior to anything like this happening. It's going to cost you.
Yeah, when you got the business of trying to recoup any money that did lose, so all the tourist cities, tourism that went down last summer, you're going to have those businesses trying to make up for it this summer. Exactly. And the way to do that is to tack on a little bit more and hope that people are willing to spend
another thing is, you're exactly right. And another thing is, you know how people were relying heavily on this unemployment and jobs where it was hard for when things started opening back up, it was hard for businesses to have retained employees because they were making more money from their unemployment rather than actually working. So now, like, I don't know if y'all seen this, but I have seen a few times where, like, McDonald's and Wendy's are offering like $18 an hour or $17 an hour, to come there and work. So you got to think in those terms too. Business wanted to be able to pay or attract employees to come back to work, to make it worth their while coming back to work, because a lot of people have opted out for, this whole unemployment thing. Now, I'm not sure what's going on with it now. I don't know if they still get that or what have you. But I did know for a while, for a minute there, there was an issue. So you got to think in terms of businesses are trying to retain employees or what have you, and they have to be able to pay them. And that goes into the incentive piece to be able to keep them, because I feel like even though we have a number of people that have got vaccinated, I don't think COVID is gone. I don't think it's gone. It's not gone, and some people are still getting it. So how do you convince your employees to stay, to come to work, especially when you have a lot of people that are making that decision to pay the extra cost just to travel, just to get out, just to go, because they have stayed at home or they weren't able to do anything last year. I know I'm like one of those people who, my friends and I, we typically go on a girls trip every summer for the last 4 or 5 years, and we haven't been able to go anywhere. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm in desperate need. And I was texting my friend the other day, and I'm like, talking me off the ledge, because I'm about to call China, I'm about to call our travel agent, I'm about to call her to book us something, because I'm just like, I need to go somewhere. But then, she talked me off the ledge and was like, look, X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, thank you, because I was, in that place. But I'm more so leaning towards, like Ken is doing, like, does it make good financial sense? Just for the sake of saying, okay, I did a vacation. Because when you get there, how are things? How will it be? You know what I'm saying? Like, how much money will I be spending when we do go? Especially for me, I'm a party of 3, not just one. So
that honestly is something, like a lot of people are going to have to take into consideration. Especially like you said, going out to eat, order it. Now let's also remember too about one of the benefits of staying in. Yes, you think, okay, order a lot of food, right? Well, prices in DoorDash for myself that I've noticed, delivery fees are rising.
Yep.
So it's
God.
It's everywhere. It's like you think you win one way, but they get you another way. Instacart, things like that. I have not ordered groceries yet since the pandemic, not since the pandemic, since the gas inflation. So I don't know if that's more or less. But I know when ordering food, it's definitely been impacting as far as like what the delivery fee already is and things like that. But I think, like you guys said, I agree with both of you. It just comes down to what's going to make financial sense for your budget. As much as you want to get out and, you want to be around the beach, or you want to be around your friends, and you want to do what you need to do, it's great. It sounds fine and dandy, but if that budget doesn't line up with it, then what hole are we digging ourselves back into? Right. What are we taking out of? What are we figuring out as far as like that process? So, I definitely love what you guys have shared with us. I think it's some great content, because this is the things that a lot of people, I think, sit down and they have to, all right, either they think about it, they do it on impulse, or they're sitting here like, oh, well, I'm just not going to go anywhere. I'm going to wait.
Right. Yeah. And I think inflation's a word that gets thrown around a lot too. But and the consumer price index is saying that we are over 3% up, which is technically inflation. So it's also a part where are we thinking, is the inflation happening because of the pandemic, or is the inflation just part of the natural course where it's time to happen anyways? So I think it's kind of just a multitude of timing of everything kind of hitting at once is also causing a little bit of issues.
Yeah.
Right. Right. It's a combination of both. And it all goes back to the supply and demand or what have you. And how do you stay competitive during this time as a business? Especially when you're trying to, like Ken said, recoup from missing a year.
Kind of like on the closing thoughts, what are some suggestions that you guys would give really quickly, really briefly on how to hedge against inflation? 1, an investing standpoint, 2, from a business owner, and then 3, as we're looking to travel.
I would say what I always say, especially as far as investing, don't let your emotions play a part in that. Do not get all emotional. I say that I live by that. Do your work, study. It's always time in the market versus market timing. Always keep that in mind. From a business perspective, I think you know, you want to stay competitive, or what have you, but you want to be kind of fair, you know. Don't just gouge people because, you know, people are we're searching for their normalcy in our lives, but also, I don't think we should. I think that's when your business ethics come into place, you know, and your integrity as a business owner. And then from a personal perspective, I think it just all goes back to what I'm just going to say, what Chan said, what makes sense financially for you. And that's just a personal decision that you have to make. Are you willing to go in a deficit just to get a few days at the beach and some sun and some sand? Or you can stay at home and just relax and save money, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think a big one is just being able to diversify is a big one. I know not everybody's blessed to have the means to diversify, but if you can, I think that's ideal. Kind of, you know, dip your toes in a little bit of everything. That way you can reap the benefits of everything. And like Keila said, don't get emotional. Don't go to the point where you feel the need to do one thing over the other because you're looking for that quick buck. I think trying to do it the smart way and look long term is going to be big.
Right.
And, you know, especially right now, CD rates, I don't know how y'all are on the bank side, but even on the credit union side, they're not great. So being able to keep cash liquid, I think is big. Liquidity, look for maybe money markets that have a little bit higher of a yield, but still give you the flexibility to access those funds if and when you need them. You know, hopefully CD rates and things like that, stock market, everything will bounce back eventually, get you some sort of return. And you want to be able to access your money. You know, don't look at that 1% that you might see on a 5-year CD and say, "Ooh, that sounds like a great return." Lock up your money and not be able to access it without a fee. So I think being able to stay liquid and just stay even keeled. You know, be able to kind of sit down and actually weigh your options. I think is big.
Ladies and gentlemen, and there you have it. Guys, this was awesome. I'm excited for the rest of the summer going forward. Let's be real. Y'all gave me some great insight, some great things to look forward to, and some great things to take away from this. I hope everyone had fun tuning into this episode today of Financial Fitness, brought to you by the Old Fashioned Health Network. Good health inside and out. My name is Jared Myers. I'm signing off.
Oh, this is Chandler.
Sheila Allen, y'all have a good night.
Yep.